Yeah. All right, man. Hey, how's everybody out there in Radio Land? Hey, you know what? This is the first show of the new year on talkwadradio.com right here in our Clearwater studio. I am David J. That is David J. Rocks the J radio show here. We're proudly a part of the Talkwater Network. Please feel free to check out our other shows on the network by going to www.talkwad.com. Hey, rockslam.com, rocking the .com world. Hey, I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve and remembers what happens. I have to tell you, and I'm not proud of it, Mr. Daniels took control. Man, I wasn't aware of the changing of the new year because I was totally out of it. But that didn't happen more than 30 years ago. So anyway, for those that were aware of the time, man, I'll tell you, going out on the farm was a little bit too much. Downtown, man, I'd have been much better off. But we're having a great New Year's Eve and a new year. Just wishing everybody out in the audience land to have a marvelous year. You know, strive for the best and pray for peace. You know, we're going into some tricky times in 2013. But the music hopefully will get some things going. And let me tell you, a lot of benefits. Music does produce a lot of, I should say, financial assets that enable people to better themselves. Otherwise, possibly they could not. So, you know, it's all good. And we're working towards the greatest year, not only here in America, but around the world. Of course, we're being broadcast in 55 countries around the world. I don't know if that's all the world, but it's enough of the world anyway. So let's get started with, I've got some news items here, a little music, a lot of music that I'm going to do, and I'm going to have a little bit of CD sound from the studio, so you're going to get a good variation of raw and uncut as opposed to professional studio quality. So let's get on with the David J. Rocks the World news here. This is from antimusic.com. We're looking at some of the rock tours that dominated 2012. You know, there's going to be a good number of stats here. And the first one having to do with these major rock tours. From Concert Industry Magazine, Polestar, that's Polestar.com, released the top 50 worldwide tours. That's worldwide tours of 2012. Of course, these are really major players. I took the top 5 out of the top 50. And let me tell you, I'd like to get a little bit of what this is all about. Because I have to admit, number one was a very big surprise to me. The number one tour to top the list from Polestar.com is the Madonna Tour. Madonna Worldwide Tour. That tour brought in $296.1 million in ticket sales, over 67 of 88 shows reported. It's the Madonna show. Yeah, Madonna still got it, major icon. And let me tell you, a lot of those blonde ladies that love to sing and dance, and you know who I'm talking about. Well, I'm not mentioning any names, really like to play the way Madonna is. The beauty of a major star. Madonna's tour took the number one poll. This one, for number 2, I would think it's major star. It's, you know, what can you say? Been around forever. Number 2 on rock tours worldwide for 2012 is Bruce Springsteen and E Street Band. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen has some major accomplishments 2012. I have a great amount of respect, not only as a musician, but as a human being for the stances he took politically, uh, openly, that, he let the dice roll, and he's coming out on top, man, let me tell you. Bruce Springsteen's #2 worldwide tour, and the E Street Band, of course, major backup, major players there. Us, Bruce Springsteen earned $210.2 million over 66 shows. It's a lot of work, man. And Bruce Springsteen has been around forever, and still putting on 66 shows with that high energy that he does. It's amazing, man. So, more part to Bruce Springsteen. And we'll have some other items about him, about some awards he's going to be getting as well for 2013. Getting back to the world tours, which dominated 2012, #3. And this one was really amazing. There was a lot of bands out there in that top 50 tours, let me tell you. And I'm only mentioning 3, but #3 on that list is Roger Waters. Of course, major Pink Floyd fame. But he came out on 3, and his touring show earned $186.4 million over 48 dates. It's Roger Waters at #3. So again, #1 on the world tours for 2012, according to Polestar.com. That's worldwide. #1 is Madonna. #2, Bruce Springsteen and E Street Band. And #3, Roger Waters. Let me tell you, there's some interesting facts about 2012 worldwide tours, for people that want to go to these concerts. And that the top 50 worldwide tours did a combined gross of $3 billion, which was down about 2% from $3.07 billion in 2011. So again, there was a little bit of fall on the combined gross of all the tours worldwide. Total tickets sold was 34.9 million, which continued the decline from 35.48 million the previous year, and is well off the pace from 2009, when the top 50 tours sold 45.3 million tickets. So again, there is some decline here, and I am trying to analyze that. Again, this data is from Any Music, which is the news provider for antimusic.com. This is interesting, and it just shows the expense of going to concerts. The average global ticket price was $85.93, which was actually down 60 cents from last year, but still well above the $73.83 charged in the more robust year of 2009. So maybe I just came across an idea that I just analyzed here with my analytical and mathematical mind. Maybe because the price of the tickets went up, there became a decline in people going. And that's why we see the 2% decline in ticket sales, which caused a gross income decline. So again, if the price goes up, less people go to the show. And so 2009 was a major year, but of course the tickets were approximately $12.10 less, according to the average of global individual tickets. This is all data that's been collected from through Panaman Music from PolestarPro.com. It's a data collection company or .com, and it's one of those things that we have in today's world with the computerization, and we can collect so much data there. So let's see what happens in 2013, working towards a major improvement and new scenes with great musicians on those scenes and venues. I would like to mention 4 and 5 on the list of the top 50 tours because, these are fairly consistent players. Number 4 on the 50 tour was Coldplay. And number 5, of course, Lady Gaga. I couldn't leave out Lady Gaga at number 5 on major rock tours that dominated 2012. You know, so we got Gaga at 5 and Madonna at number 1. So you ask yourself, what's that in between? But of course, you got to know the style, and where it's coming from, what people love to experience in a tour performance. I guess because the skill level and the technology is going up, the price of the tickets have too. So, a couple analytical factors there. One, price sales have increased as far as the individual cost, and less people seem to be going to the individual concerts. Not much, but a few. So let's see if we can get that increased. Maybe I'll collect that data next year and see how it turns out. Also, I want to kind of go into a concept here about survival aspects. I mentioned this is from Rolling Stone Music by David Brown, November 8th article. The bands are cutting costs, touring more, and getting creative to make up for falling album sales. Again, from major labels like David Geffen to independent artists, more money from the independent artists is being put out to record and video. That enables them, the independent artists, to have freedom, but it's very nerve-wracking because there's no money backing them. Creating your own label is a logo, and that's following the footsteps of Radiohead and Nine Inch Nails. So, times have changed about those major contract signings, and more independent artists are footing the bill for their tours, as well as cutting costs there. Another interesting article about touring and some of the steps involved there. This is from Creative Loafing. It's a local publication, and it's the December 27th to January 2nd edition. This is an article by Leilani Polk. This year saw a rise in artists and bands commemorating the anniversary release of seminal album by presenting the album live in its entirety. Full album tours, is what she calls it, will only increase in 2013, and that's what Leilani Polk's prediction is. Since they're an ingenious way to spur renewed interest in records that probably aren't moving or generate brand new interest with special remastered releases of the albums in question preceding the tours. They also give bands an excuse to hit the road despite lacking fresh material to promote. So again, you have interesting articles and ideas about independent artists cutting costs, and as well as doing the full concert in a full album as opposed to mixing up song settings. So, it's kind of interesting, the techniques out there for those music aficionados here on rockslam.com, as well as collecting data that's been studied over the last year and compiled by reputable resources. Now, I want to go into a little bit of live. I know I was talking about touring and so forth, but I'd like to do a little bit of live stand-up here. One of my songs has to do with my own personal touring in my little neck of the woods from Gainesville, Alachua to Tampa Bay area and out towards Orlando, going east from the West Coast, of course. And we're going to bring it down a little bit from world to regional. And my song's entitled Highway 41. That's what I was thinking when I was driving as an independent artist, going to all the dives and whatever farms are available at different times to make it happen. Try to get a song out there. So I'm going to move to the stand-up mic, do this one. And just bear with me for an instance. All right, little Highway 41. Little touring music here. After all the data collection, now we want to make it fun here on David J. Rocks the J. And also, we want to make it informative from, of course, worldwide to local and on different levels, as well as seeing different perspectives about play. This is a live and raw presentation of one of my songs, Highway 41. Driving through the forest, Tampa Bay bound. Have no one who cares, looking for a friend, daring to be found. Highway 41, going downtown. Folks on the windshield, hell can't see a thing. When will I ever find a friend on this damn highway, going through the forest, thinking that I'm nowhere bound, thinking that I'm nowhere bound, yeah. Highway 41, going downtown, getting low on gas, can't see the road, rains are pouring all around. Hey, cars are slowing down, thinking that I'm never gonna get there, thinking that I'm never gonna get there. Highway 41, going downtown. Rains are clearing over the hill, seals catch your blue, rainbow shining through. Oh yeah, I see the end of my drive, city skyline coming up, city skyline coming up, yeah. Highway 41, going downtown. Highway 41, people, yeah. Rock and roll, local, yeah. If you will excuse me, I will go back to the seating area and continue with the rap, yeah. right, I mentioned Bruce Springsteen having the #1 tour. I'll take that back to #2 tour worldwide. Also, he's going to get a major tribute here, as Bruce Springsteen will receive All-Star Tribute to be presented with the 2013 Grammy Music Cares Person of the Year Award at a ceremony taking place on Friday, February 8th at the Los Angeles Convention Center. Bruce Springsteen and E Street Band won the Best Album of 2012 entitled Wrecking Ball, their 17th album. So again, Bruce Springsteen is #2 on the world tours, but has the #1 album. And this has to do with sales and revenue brought in. Best album of 2012. So, this man has had an incredible year. And I really feel that he's just reaching an era that's going to really fall in place for him, the E Street Band, and the style. More power to it, and praise the spirit of Bruce Springsteen. Now, hey there, Adam. How about a little bit? We're going to do a little bit of studio right here. I'm going to give you the variation from the live to studio performance by Tommy McCoy. We're going to do #5 off his CD, Late in a Lonely Night. #5 being Space Master.
Planetary lady, I'm your space master, baby. You're my planetary lady. You know I got a rocket. I know you're gonna dock it. I'm your space master, baby. I got full thrust and clear skies. I got stars in my eyes. I got full thrust and clear skies. I got stars in my eyes. Your clothes are gonna cast off before
I am expanding horizons. Audience, viewers out there, if you've been listening, you'll get the point. From Florida on a regional, local level, national, worldwide, and universal, baby. That's what it is. And music makes it happen. Tap into it. Now, this is David J. Rocks the J radio show. And I've been really enjoying the whole process here in presenting items that to me are quite interesting, especially informative about the monies, that are available. Show me the money, baby. Sponsors out there, give me a call. My number is 813-767-7105. Let me tell you, we got some plans for people buying into the show. And let me tell you, I'll make it happen for you. Also, call in people at 727-597-4022. I'll be happy to have some on the second half of the David J. Rocks the J radio show. I'll be happy to have some interaction out there. Yeah. All right, getting back to a little bit of the world scene here. This is from Henny Music, which is the news reporter for antimusic.com. Rush classic Working Man has been redone as the theme for the Transporter TV series. It is being used as the intro to the new Transporter. The series premiered on January 3rd on HBO in Canada. Fan site Rush Is Our Band reports the new version of Working Man is a barely recognizable electronica arrangement from Jamie Forsythe with Daniel Armstrong on vocals. Well, you wonder why a classic is rearranged for an intro on a TV series. Audience, ask yourself questions. Why are you inquiring about that concept? And let me tell you, I got some independent artist friends that will tell the businessman to go to hell because their art is number one. This is an interesting one item. January 3rd, Thursday, Jack White tops the Beatles. And I mentioned Jack White had a little bit of a problem at the Radio City Music Hall last year when he started antagonizing the audience and left after 50 minutes of show and creating a semi-riot, people banging on cars. Jack White is a very interesting character, highly creative. He tops the Beatles. How? Well, his solo debut album, Blunderbuss, has been named the biggest selling vinyl album of 2012. The project sold more than 33,000 copies according to the Nielsen SoundScan vinyl charts. That knocked the Beatles' Abbey Road off the top spot, a position held the previous 3 years. Blunderbuss sales are the highest for a new album, not a catalog album, since SoundScan began specifically tracking vinyl in 2008. There you see it, man. Abbey Road. Blunderbuss tops Abbey Road. And vinyl sales, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, Abbey Road is really wild, and Blunderbuss is even wilder, man. Getting back to a real favorable note here for all the folks that love Green Day. Green Day have announced the new dates for their previously postponed North American Winter Tour. Remember, the band was forced to postpone their original planned trek after frontman Billy Joe Armstrong entered rehab. Let me tell you, the music scene is a rough scene, and things get to you. Also, I'd like to make a comment about my planned guest for this evening, which I promoted on Facebook. That's Latreia Savage. Latreia, she has a vocal difficulty right now. Can't sing, had difficulty talking to her today. And she had to miss the show because of health conditions. So we hope Latreia Savage gets healthy, and hopefully we can reschedule her next week. As she mentioned, she'd like to call in. All right, getting back to the article about Green Day and Billy Joe Armstrong. The newly announced dates will begin on March 28th in Chicago and conclude April 12th in Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. The band is excited about getting back on the road to live out loud. And frontman Billy Joe feels the passion for their music has only grown stronger. So we're really pleased Green Day is getting back on tour. Billy Joe Armstrong has recovered, and we're looking for some great touring action there from Green Day. Also, Deep Purple, man. Deep Purple was one of the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but didn't get the induction. And this is kind of interesting. They're taking new direction on a new album. They have confirmed their 19th studio album in the U.S. Will be released on April 30th, 2013, and April 26th outside of North America. In an interview with 100% Rock Magazine frontman Ian Gillan shared an update on Purple's first album since 2005, entitled Rapture of the Deep. This is from Ian Gillan. Quote, "It's being mixed as we speak," says Gillan. "We finished recording. It's a new tone. It's a new direction. It's fresh stuff. I think it was all written and recorded in Nashville, and the reason we went there was not to make a country record, but because Bob Ezrin, our producer, lives in Nashville, and so it made a lot of sense because he had all the studio facilities and backup and everything else. So it made it really easy there for Deep Purple." Again, Deep Purple wants that induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I would suspect they would make the class of 2014. Did not 2013. Let me rehash the inductees for the class of 2013 in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rush, Public Enemy, Heart, Randy Newman, posthumously Donna Summer and Albert King, and Lou Adler and Quincy Jones will both receive their Ahmet Award for non-performers. Little comment there on Heart there, the Wilson sisters. Had a chance kind of scan into the Kennedy Awards, and Heart did Stairway to Heaven. Led Zeppelin was one of the inductees to the Kennedy Center. And I have to... Nancy Wilson sang Robert Plant to a T on that show. Very amazing. And you ask yourself why Heart made the class of 2013 in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let me tell you, the talent is the proof in the pudding. That's what the challenge is for musicians and artists, is to bring out the genius. Stay together during the hard times and reach the individual hearts of the fans. I could tell that Led Zeppelin, as they were experiencing the heart rendition of Stairway to Heaven. That would be Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, John Bonham in memory, with his son Jason on stage drumming. Was an amazing experience. It really brings down the heavenly vibes that are all around us and consolidates them in a form that's astronomical, very spiritual and universal. The heart presentation of Stairway to Heaven with the vibes of the Led Zeppelin members experiencing their song being played by the Wilson sisters, especially. Of course, there were some other musicians that were amazing too, but and then the vocal by Nancy Wilson was just off the track. Right, this is a David J. Rocks the J radio show. Any callers in there for questions on news items that are current? Any stats from 2012? I have a huge collection from the research that I do for the show, for the David J. Show. Please call in at 727-597-4022. Also, one item here from Henny Music that's really interesting about how some of the strategies on tours and how some of the bands kind of tickle the interest of the audiences. Rolling Stones, Black Sabbath, Van Halen named artists to watch in 2013. Rock Forecast, Rolling Stones. The Stones teased fans with a 5-date fall tour, and there's plenty more where that comes from. The band will tour 2013 as they continue to mark their 50th anniversary on April. Headlining date at Coachella was recently leaked by the group. Number 2, Black Sabbath. The metal legend hit a few roadblocks in 2012. Guitarist Tony Iommi was diagnosed with cancer and underwent chemotherapy. A full tour schedule was reduced to 3 shows following Iommi's news and treatment. And a contract dispute prevented drummer Bill Ward from joining his bandmates for live dates and the creation of new music. Sabbath are moving forward, though. Nonetheless, a new album produced by Rick Rubin is scheduled for April, and the band begins touring with shows down under that same month. That'd be Australia. So again, God bless Black Sabbath. They were a holy group. Get into it, people. Feel the spirit. We just pray for Tony Iommi's health and getting Bill Ward back into the group. And the final artists to be watching in 2013, Van Halen, another band that hit a major roadblock in 2012 with guitarist Eddie Van Halen undergoing surgery for a severe bout of diverticulosis. Event that put the band on the sidelines for the last 6 months of the year. However, Van Halen will return live in 2013 with a series of rescheduled Japanese dates set for June. Beyond that, bassist Wolfgang Van Halen will tour with Alter Bridge, Creed guitarist Mark Tremonti, solo bands throughout February. But other than that, nothing else has been revealed about Van Halen's plans for the year. All right. Let's take a look at the top albums of 2012 from Rolling Stone. A little bit of stats there on the albums. Of the 50 best albums of 2012, I chose, I believe, the top 10. I'd like to review these, and this goes back, and we're hearing this name quite a bit. Number 1, Bruce Springsteen again. Wrecking Ball is the number 1 album of 2012. It's their 17th album. Number 2, Frank Ocean, Channel Orange. Number 3, again, Jack White, Blunderbuss. Number 4, Bob Dylan, Tempest. 5, Fiona Apple. Idler Wheel is Wiser. Yeah, and this is from 50 best albums of 2012 from Rolling Stone Music. Number 6, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. 7, Eduardo Sharp and the Magentic Zeros. Here, Green Day, Uno. Japan Droid, Celebration Rock, and number 10, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Psychedelic Pill. So those are the top 10 of the 50 best albums of 2012. Well, I didn't get my song or album up there, and I'm working on that composition. So I did think about, some personal experience locally here. And we have a few storms out here in Tampa Bay. So I thought I'd write about loving you in the storm. Try to get down to some vibe here. And I think I'm going to do this song seated before we hear another studio sound. All right, this is Loving You in the Storm. Clouds darkening in the sky, sounds of thunder bursting on high, and traffic stopped to each car, blurry in the haze, white rain pounding on the glass, blocking my gaze. See your image with such clear form. Loving you in the storm. Ring comes from my phone, calling to tell me I am so wrong. My heart leaps in expectation, yet my head thumps without anticipation. Finding a place to be alone. Loving you in the storm. Loving you in the storm. Our eyes piercing through the clay, getting in to hold you again. Bodies caressing as one, in tune with the vibrations of the downpour. Gone so quickly in that moment, till we meet sometime soon. you're in the storm. Loving you're in the storm. Loving you in the storm. Okay, Adam, let's get on with a little bit of Tommy McCoy, man. Yes, we're going to do one of Tommy McCoy's studio, and we're going to do a little set here for Tommy. Let me see what we have here for Tommy. Yeah, this is Cars, Bars, and Guitars. It's from Late in the Lonely Night. Tommy McCoy CD. Are we ready, how?
I had it made in the shade. I got the big payday. Man, I thought I was rich until I wound up deep in the ditch. I spent it all on cars, bars, and guitars. Yes, I did. I was riding like a wheel. I didn't know what was the deal. The time was coming up fast. I'd gone through all my cash. I spent it all on cars, bars, and guitars. Oh, yeah. I should have saved a little buck instead of that old truck. Why'd I buy the vintage Les Paul? I used to buy 'em cheap, but now they're getting steep. No wonder what happened to it all. So now I'm sitting here broke, but to me it's just a joke. I still got a yard full of cars. I won't tell a lie, I'm telling you why. I got a room full of guitars. I spend it all on cars, bars, and guitars. Hey, yes, I did. guitar. That's what I like.
McCoy CD. late in the lonely night here. I know I've been talking about different levels, giving stats. I want to get into something that's near and dear to my heart. We had a great activity Saturday night at the Hard Rock Cafe out here in Tampa Bay. We had the Hope for the Warriors. Yeah. Benefit that was highlighted by the Wilson Van. Great show, man. Great show last night. Hard Rock Cafe. Now, proceeds went to the Hope for the Warriors. This has to do with our war vets. This is what it has to do with the mission specifically here. The mission of Hope for the Warriors is to enhance the quality of life for post 9/11 service members, their families, and families of the fallen who have sustained physical and psychological wounds in the line of duty. Hope for the Warriors is dedicated to restoring a sense of self, restoring the family unit, restoring hope for our service members and our military families. Core values. Hope for the Warriors understands the challenges, pride, and joy of being a military family for today, tomorrow, and years to come. We will strive to meet the changing needs of service members and their families. In history, a group of military wives founded the organization in 2006. They stood together as they witnessed firsthand the effects of the war on service members and their families. Since that time, Hope for the Warriors has grown tremendously in the span of programs offered and the number of wounded and family members assisted nationally. Again, that's Hope for the Warriors. Great benefit charity show at Hard Rock Hotel Tampa Bay, Hard Rock Cafe specifically, with the headliners Wilson Van. It's Mark, Phil, and Patrick Wilson. It was a great show. And anybody feels the need out there, feels the spirit, you can find out more for Hope for the Warriors on their website, which is www.hopeforthewarriors.org. That's HOPEFORTHEWARRIORS. Yeah, we'll probably hear a little bit more about that next Sunday, but we're getting a little bit short on time now, and I want to kind of wrap up what we've kind of been touching on here. A lot of stats for the 2012 experience in music on a variety of levels, whether it be regional, national, worldwide, or universal. The music is going to make it happen. Perfect example is raising funds for our wounded warriors, reaching the families. Predictions for 2013, and watching a variety of bands, kind of been tantalizing our desire for their touring. And the experiences of major performers as they reach huge monetary success in worldwide touring. These ideas are highly profound in the world, the music industry, so to speak. But let's get back to where it really begins, and that's touching the heart of a human being, creating a vibe, and then giving back the huge rewards that can be earned by major performers. We see a lot of it today in the benefit of the artists, especially here in the United States, a great country for giving around the world. So let's kind of pull together, people. I'd like to have a big increase in concert sales worldwide, because a lot of that money is going to great charity and benefit. Let's stay on the up and coming and the positive side. Lord, we know we can always look at the other side. But by looking at the positive side, we're going to go to the light. And in that light, we will see the oneness in the universe. And so, this is David J. Rocks the J Radio Show. I am signing off for this Sunday. God bless. And the first show of the new year, rockslamradio.com. Here in our Clearwater studio. Everybody have a great evening. Tune in next week for Whitney Live Force.
Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore.